is going to be an issue. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this problem. So again, we're spending 3 days on this. So the first day that we did with solving by systems is what we see here is the opposite is already given. So these are opposites. Okay. And that's our goal with elimination, is that we want to see opposites. So day one, we had systems that were already lined up and the opposites were already there. Okay, so that was day one. That was the day one homework. And then what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to take a look at, well, what if they're not already opposite? What can we do to get an opposite pair in there? So that's what we're going to look at today. And then the last day, we'll also throw in what if they're not lined up, which is really an easy step. Okay? So let's go over this, and then let's focus on problems today where the opposite isn't looking up. But the first thing we always want to do is look for an opposite. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm lagging, and I don't know why. So I'm really sorry about that. I'll look into it in a little bit. I did get a warning at the very beginning of class that the internet was slow, but I've done nothing different with my internet. So, all right. So we're looking for the opposite here. So what I'm going to do, if you have opposites, right? So plus 4 is opposite of negative 4. And then I'm going to add these two equations together. And I'm going to add straight up and down. So the add really goes like right here. Okay, so you can think of the adds going like that. So I get 2 plus 30. That's 32. Okay, and then I get 4 plus a negative 4y. That's 0, right? Because they're opposite. And then I got 7x plus 9x. That's 16x. Okay, and what we have here is we went from 2 equations with 2 unknowns, right? Our unknowns are x and y, so we have 2 equations, 2 unknowns, to 1 equation, 1 unknown. And we can go ahead and we can solve this. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 16. And remember, a calculator is your friend, so I'm going to promote using a calculator. Okay, so I'm going to get 2. So I get, this goes to 1, right? 16 over 16 is 1. So I get 1x equals 2. So that's one of my solutions. Okay. So one of my solutions is x. And again, if you guys have a question, I know there was an issue with lagging. I don't know what to do about that at this point. I'm really sorry about that. But does anybody have questions about this process? Here, just a second. I'm going to check something really quick. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just checking to see if I can fix my internet really quickly. Okay, so sorry, I'm working on the internet issue. Hopefully I'll get a fix here in just a little bit. All right, so again, we look for opposites, and then we add, and then we can solve. Okay, so this is really two steps, right? We look for the opposite. If we have opposites, then we just add the two equations. Then the second step is I get a new equation, and I can solve for the one unknown. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this answer, and I'm going to plug it back into one of the equations. So you guys can vote on it. What do you guys want to plug it back in? Do you want to plug it into the top or the bottom? Hey guys, what do you want to do? Do you want to plug this x equals 2? Do you want to plug that into the top or bottom equation? So you tell me in chat. Do you guys want me to do the top or the bottom? Okay. So okay, so I'm going 3 out of 2. So I'm going to go plug this into the top. So I'm going to plug this into the top equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this top equation again over here. But everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a 2. Right, so all I did was I took this equation and I plugged in the 2. So I'm taking this top equation, plugging in the 2. And what this does now is I have one equation, one unknown. So I can go ahead and solve this. 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. So I get 4y equals, and then 2 minus 14 is negative 12. And then I'm going to divide by 4. So 4 goes into 4 once, and then I get y equals negative 3. So I have my two answers. The only thing that's left is to write them as a point. So I'm going to write my answer as 2, negative 3. Right? My x comes first, my y comes second. Okay? So does anybody have questions with this setup? Because this is the basic setup. We're going to add one step today, and that step is going to be like, well, what happens if we don't have opposites? Does that mean we can't use elimination, or do we have to do an extra step? Okay, so are we okay with this? Are people okay with that I got 2, negative 3? Does anybody have questions before I move on to the next one? All right, so I'm not hearing anything from anyone. I'm not seeing any comments. Okay. So we're going to go ahead today. And what we're learning new today is what if, so here we go. What if there are no opposite terms to start? Okay, so what if there are no opposite terms to start? So we're given equations. Oh, I can move down like that. So what if there are no opposite terms to start? Okay. So what we're looking at here, when we first started on this one, 4y and negative 4y were opposite. So we're going to take a look here on what we're going to do to be able to get opposite terms. So we're just going to add one more step. Okay, so we're going to add one more step, and that's going to be, we're going to multiply 1 or both. So we're going to multiply 1 or both. We're not really going to worry about both. We're going to focus on just multiplying 1. Equation to get opposite terms. Okay, so that what we're going to do today is we're going to multiply 1 or both, but we're really going to focus on 1 equation to get opposite terms. So we're going to use multiplication to get what we want. Now, again, it is one more step, but once you get to the opposite, then it's going to be just like this equation right here. So, and I heard someone say this last class, like this was pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it to here so it can be straightforward and quick. Okay. So let's do an example, and I'll show you all the steps. Okay, so let's call this example 1. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to have 3x plus 4y equals 52. And then I'm going to have 5x plus y equals 30. Okay. Now, in this example, right, the first thing we want to look for is opposites. Well, 3x and 5x are not opposites, and 4y and y are not opposites. So there's no opposites here. Okay, so I really want that to stick out to people right now. Okay, there is no opposites. So there are no opposite terms here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to make it so that these have opposite terms, one pair of opposite terms, so that we can just add the equations. So to do this, what I like to do is I want to do the least amount of work possible, and I know you guys do too. So when I look at this, I want to be able to multiply one or both of these equations by a number to get us the opposite. So what I'm looking for is things that could be easily done opposite. Now 3 and 5, they're not multiples of each other. This one is not going to be good. But if I look at here, I have 4y and y. It's really easy to multiply this y by the opposite of 4y. So what's the opposite of 4y? So I'm going to look at this one. And it doesn't matter which one you do, but what is the opposite of 4y? What's the opposite of 4y? I'm asking you guys a question. It's not rhetorical. You guys can type it in the chat. What's the opposite of 4y? So in chat, can you so write it out completely. I agree it's going to be negative. Negative what? You can even just type it using symbols. There you go. So it's going to be negative 4y, right? It's going to be negative 4y. So that's going to be the opposite. So what we want to do is we want to multiply this bottom equation by negative 4. Because if we multiply this by negative 4, we will get a 4y and a negative 4. So to do this, I'm going to use my red pen here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by negative 4. I really should think of it like this, the left and the right. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the left side by negative 4. I'm going to multiply the right side by negative 4. So step 1, we are going to multiply by negative 4 on the bottom equation. Okay, now now to do this, I'm going to do all of my work to the right. So we're not going to do anything to the top equation. So the top equation is going to stay the same. The bottom equation, though, that's going to be a new equation. So I have to multiply everything by -4. So don't include the y. We're not multiplying by -4y, just -4. So I have -4 times 5, right? So that's going to be -20x, right? -4 times 5x is -20x. -4 times y is -4y. And that's what we wanted. Do you see how we have opposites now? Okay, and then on this side, -4 times 30, you can just think of it as -4 times 3 and then add a 0. So if I have -4 times 30, it's just -4 times 3 and then you add a 0. So I'd have -120. Okay. And then that's it, guys. Now we have opposites. So now we have opposite terms. Oops, hidden by my picture. So now we have opposite terms. And that's it. That's everything new that we're learning today. Because this right now, it's just like what we did in the warm-up. Okay? So what we're looking for is, so if you see there's no opposite terms, then we're going to take one of our equations and multiply by a number to get to make it so there are opposites. Okay, so this is our old bottom. This is our new bottom. Okay, and remember, we're keeping everything the same because we're doing the same thing to the left and the right side. So when I do this, the left side and the right side are the same. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and solve. So before I do that, does anybody have questions? This is everything that's new. That's it. So it's difficult because you're like, well, how do I know? You're like, well, how do I know which one to multiply and how do I know what number to multiply? And that's the tricky part. That's the problem solve. That's where it's like a puzzle. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and solve this now. So to solve this, I'm going to add the top and the bottom. So I'm going to have my calculator out because we got some more difficult numbers. So I'm going to take 52 and then plus -120, right? Because I'm adding these. So I get -68. So these two added together are -68. 4y plus -4y. The whole point of this was to get it to 0. So I'm glad that it gets there. And then I have 3 plus -20x. I get -17x. We can put a plus there. Okay. So we did all of that. See how we got one equation, one variable? Heck yes, we're good to go. So to solve this, I'm going to go ahead and divide by -17. So I'm going to have -68 divided by -17. And I get 4. I get x equals 4. Okay. All right, how are we doing so far, guys? Are we okay? I know it looks like a lot. There's just a lot of small steps, right? So we added in this, hey, we want to get opposite terms, but now we're back to this. So hopefully you guys remember what to do next. Now that we have x, we have to plug this back in to either the top or the bottom, right? You always want to go to your original equations. You don't want to go to the one that you did here because the numbers are going to be bigger. So we want to go back to our original problems. And I always like to pick the one that we haven't used yet because, you know, sharing is caring and we want to make sure that we're good to go there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top equation. So I'm going to have 3 and then anywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in the 4. And then I have plus 4y equals 52. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve this for y. So in doing this, I know 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. So I get 4y equals, and then I have 52 minus 12. And see, using a calculator, guys, can be really quick. And then I divide by 4. And again, whenever you have a 0, you can just say, well, 4 goes into 4 one time and then add the 0 back in. So this would be y equals 10. Okay, so I got both my answers. So now we're going to have my answer written as a point, so 4, 10. Right, remember this is my x, that's my y. All right, now it's easy to be overwhelmed because we're taking notes. We were going so slow, and we go that slow sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember the start of it. So we're gonna do one more of these together. I'm gonna go a little bit faster, and then we're going to go from there. Here in a second, I'm going to shut some things down. My computer is acting slow, and I'm really sorry. I hope it's going okay on your end. I'm trying to resolve the issue here on my end. I don't know what's going on. All right, so guys, let's do one more of these. I didn't see any questions, so let's go ahead, do one more, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's our next one that we're gonna try out together. It says that it's my Chrome, so I'm going to close out Google Chrome. All right, so let's try that. It means that my lesson plan isn't up. All right, so here's example number 2. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to make the stream better. Let's try this one. So we're gonna have 3x. Oop. I'm sorry, I almost just wrote down the exact same problem. So let's do one where there's a couple of different solutions. So let's try 2x, I mean, not different solutions, but different ways of getting there. Minus 4y equals -6. And we're gonna have x minus y equals -1. Okay. So get that written down, and then we're gonna take a look at Weird. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at how to solve this. Yeah. Yep. So we don't normally write the 1 because we're lazy. So there's just one x, and there's just a -1y there. Okay. So so taking a look at this. I'm gonna go ahead here and look for opposites. So I don't have an opposite in x, and I don't have an opposite in the y. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to multiply one or multiple lines by a number to get a new one. So in this case, it's easy, since x and y are by themselves, it's easy to get an opposite in the x or the y. So you guys tell me, do you guys want to do x or y? It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer either way. And this is kind of cool because you get options. Okay, so let's take a look at the x. So what I'm going to do here is, what's the opposite of 2x? Right, so we're looking for what is opposite of 2x. Right, so what's the opposite of 2x? So in this case, it would be -2x. Okay, so what I need here is I need -2x down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. Okay, so over to the right here, I'm going to have my top equation stays the same. So I'm going to have 2x minus 4y equals negative 6. And then my bottom equation, so let's see here, negative 2 times x, that's negative 2x. Negative 2 times a negative y, so that's going to be a positive 2y. And then negative 2 times a negative 1, that is positive 2. Now remember, if you're having difficulties doing this multiplication, a calculator is going to make things really easy for you. Okay, so we can go ahead and do it that way. Man, I don't know why my... Did the stream get better for you guys, or is it still lagging? Are we still lagging a little bit? I'm trying all these different things while I'm trying to teach. It got a little bit better? Okay, because I'm still getting a little error message on my screen. Okay, so that was it, guys. That's the step. So now what we can do here is we can go ahead and add. So I just want to make sure, do you guys get this step? Because that's the only thing we're doing new today. Right? If you don't have opposites, you can go ahead and do an opposite. Now, if we wanted to do y, right, I could have multiplied by negative 4. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to add these two, right? So this was step number 1. So this is step number 2. So go ahead and add these. So negative 6 plus 2, that's negative 4. And then negative 4 plus 2, that's negative 2y. And then 2x plus negative 2x is 0. So I just get negative 2y equals negative 4. So now I want to go ahead and solve this. So I have negative 2 times y, so I'm going to divide by negative 2. Right, that goes in one time, so I end up with 1y. And negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. Okay, and then you guys can go ahead and vote for this again. Do you want to plug this into the top or the bottom? I keep multiplying the bottom, don't I? So what do you guys want to use? Do you want to use the original top or the original bottom? Okay, let's go ahead and do the top. So I'm going to have 2, what do we get? Y here. So I have 2x minus 4, and then my y was 2 equals negative 6. So again, I'm plugging this 2 into here. Right, so this was the top equation. I'm just labeling this so that no one is confused with what we're doing, right? So I took the top equation, I plugged in y equals 2. So we're going to go ahead and solve this now. So negative 4 times 2, that's negative 8. I'm going to go ahead, I want to get this 2x by itself, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I get 2x equals 8 minus 6. So again, if you ever just want to do this quickly, you can do this in a calculator. So that's 2. And then I divide by 2. I get x equals 1. Okay, so so at the end here, I still have to write my answer out. So I have x equals 1, y equals 2. My answer is 1, 2. Remember, the x comes first, the y comes second. All right, so hey guys, we're going to try and see if we can't make this easy for you guys. You guys are going to try one of these out. Okay, so let's try this out for you guys. So this is going to be a try on your own. Sorry, I'm being a little slow. I'm trying to figure out my computer programs while I'm teaching. It's really difficult. So try on your own. Let's try this one out. So we're going to have 3x minus 5y equals negative 2. And I'm going to have x plus 3y equals 4. Okay, I'm going to give you guys, I know this is new stuff, so I'm going to give us plenty of time to work on this. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. So write that down, and then this will also give me a little time to figure out what's going wrong with my computer. Okay, so write this down. I'll start 3 minutes here in just a second. Okay, and then I'm going to start here the timer right now. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I hope you guys had a good check on this. I've been trying to solve my issue, but it seems like I'm going to have to contact YouTube, and that's what's causing the issue. So how you guys doing? Let's take a look at this and see what we can do to solve this. Okay, so the first thing I do is I look at this, and I don't see any opposites. So we're going to have to multiply something to get opposites. So I see 3 and 5 here. 3 doesn't go into 5, and 5 doesn't go into 3. So I'd have to multiply twice here, so I don't want to do that. But I look at right here, and I see a really good chance to get opposites. So what's the opposite of 3, right? That's negative 3. So I'm going to multiply the bottom here by negative 3. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here just for a second. Are you guys doing okay with this? Were you guys able to see that multiplying by negative 3 here is probably the easiest? The only other way would be multiply the bottom by 5 and then the top by 3. Okay. So I'm going to end up with, let's take a look here. So the top here is going to stay the same. So I'm going to get 3x minus 5y equals -2. So the top stays the same. And then the bottom is going to change. So I get -3 times x is -3x. And then -3 times +3, that is -9y. And then on the other side, I'm going to get -12. Okay. So this is your new equations that you're going to deal with. And we're going to go ahead now and we're going to add. And remember, we add in columns. We just add straight down. So I'm having -2 plus -12. Now it's really easy here to make the mistake of just saying -2 minus -12. So make sure you say -2 plus -12, right? We're adding. So I'm going to have -14. And then I'm going to have -5 plus -9. So I'm going to have -14y. And then this is going to go to 0. Oop, plus a negative, right? So that can just go away. So this is kind of nice. I can kind of do this one in my head. I have -14y equals -14. So I go ahead and I divide by -14. And I get y equals +1. And you can double check that on your calculator. -14 divided by -14 is +1. All right, and if I'm going too fast, guys, please let me know. I hope you guys are doing okay. I know this can be difficult because there's so many small steps. And the more steps you have, the more chances you have to making just a silly mistake or, just a basic mistake. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug it back into my top equation. So my top equation is 3x minus 5. So everywhere I see a y, though, I'm going to replace it with 1 because that's what we solved for. Right? So this is my top equation. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this now, right? So I plugged this into my top equation. So I'm going to have 3x minus 5 equals -2 because anything times 1 is just itself. I want to get rid of the -5, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Okay, so I get 3x equals -10. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So I get x equals, did I do, okay, I'm just trying to y equals 3x minus 5. So, and then I times it by 1. So that's -5. And then I added 5. How did I get 10? I knew I did something wrong. Thank you so much. Guys, that was a mistake. It's like I have people direct message me like, how did you get 10? Guys, I don't know how I got 10. See, and then, so as a teacher, right, this is like when our brains aren't totally there because I'm trying to fix my computer issues. -2 plus 5, right? -2 plus 5 is 3. Okay, -2 plus 5 is 3. So if I divide by 3, that's going to be 1. So I knew something was wrong there. Just like life is distracting, right? So there we go. So then to write my answer for this, my answer is going to be 1, 1, right? Remember your x, I mean, it doesn't really matter because their x and the y's are the same. So there's my answer right there. All right, guys. So how are we feeling? Was that enough time? Was 3 minutes enough time to do this? Do you guys want a little bit more time? What do you got? How are you guys feeling? We're going to practice one more. So for this next one, do you guys want a little bit more time? Are we doing okay? Is there anything I can do to help? A minute more. Okay, I got it. We'll do it. Because, I mean, it's normal to struggle when you're doing something new, right? Because you want to look at your notes. You want to make sure you're doing it right. I totally get it. Okay, so let's try another one, guys. Remember, all we're trying to do is build up confidence. So if you're not getting the right answer right off the bat, that's okay. So this is example 3. Oh, so let's do this one. So this one's going to be on your own again. So I'm going to have x plus 2y equals 6. And I'm going to have 2x minus 4y equals negative 12. So this is a minus. So x plus 2y equals 6. 2x minus 4y equals negative 12. There's a request to add some more time. We will add some more time to this. So go ahead and write this down. Sorry, that was a mistake. This is 2x minus 4y. Okay, and let's see what you guys can get. And I'm going to keep working on my video problem. So keep going, guys. All right. Hey guys, I changed some settings, so I don't know how it's going to affect you guys. But hopefully, I hope this is better. If it's not, okay. Well, let's see what happens. So, I'm just gonna try some things out. So I can switch between. So this is 480. Oh wow, that really makes it worse, doesn't it? So that's 480. And then this is 720. I think 720 is just fine. Here, what happens if I go to 30? Okay, so this is 30. This might be a little bit better. Yeah, this might be a bit better. So we're going at 30 frames per second now. So it'll just be like playing a video game. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. And then you guys do have homework tonight. It is going to be due Thursday. If I remember right, it's only a few problems. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's only a few problems. So make sure you guys log in to Big Ideas and get that done. If you need help on your homework, please let me know. So I'm looking for opposites here. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do X or do you want to do Y? So just type it into chat really quickly. Do you guys want me to do X or Y? Okay, so let's do Y. So in this case, so if I wanted to do X's, I could multiply the top by -2. Now here, what's the opposite of -4? It's 4. So if I wanted to do the X's, I would do -2, but if I wanted to do the Y's, I would do +2. So if I'm doing the Y's, I'm going to multiply by +2. Now, if you did the X's, then that's totally fine. We should get the same answer, okay? And if you want to stay a little bit afterwards, I can do it that one too. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I'm going to get 2x and then plus 4y. And then don't forget this side, I'm going to get 2 times 6 is 12. And then in this case, the bottom is going to stay the same. Okay, so in doing this one, right, what we did here is we got the y's to be opposite. So I'm going to go ahead now and add these two. So 12 plus -12 is 0. Ooh, those went away too, right? And then I'm going to have 4y minus 4y, that's 0. And then I'm going to have 2x plus 2x, that's 4x. Okay, so if you have 4x equals 0, well, 4 times x, so if I divide by 4, and then what's 0 divided by anything, right? And if you don't remember this, you can always use a calculator. 0 divided by anything is 0, so I get x equals 0. Okay. So then, to finish this off, I'm going to plug this back into, so I haven't used the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and use the bottom in this one. So I'm going to have 2 times my 0, and then minus 4y equals -12. So 2 times 0 is 0, so I just get -4y equals -12. So I divide both sides by -4, and I'm going to get y equals a +3. So my answer is 0, 3. Now, if you guys did it for x, you should have gotten the same answer. So if you guys want to stay after, I will totally go through this and do it for x. I'm sorry, guys, for all the technical issues. I think I figured it out. Hopefully this will solve issues. And then you guys have homework. It's posted to Big Ideas. It is due Thursday. Please let me know if you need help. I have office hours tomorrow from 1 to 3 if you guys need help, and you guys can come in and get that help. All right, guys, that's the end of class. Please let me know if you guys need any